So you've subscribed to Apple Arcade, you've opened up the App Store to download your very first game, and you look at the App Store and go, holy crap, what do I get? Well, you've clicked on the right video because I've played the games so you can avoid the lames. Yep, I just said that. Anyway, here are the first 5 games that I think you should download when you subscribe to Apple Arcade. Speaking of subscriptions, you're watching Tech Finder, and if you subscribe to this channel, well, you won't get any games, but it is free and will keep you up to date with the latest news, reviews, and ways to save money in the tech and gaming world. So if that sounds good to you, please hit subscribe. Anyway, your first port of call on the App Store should definitely be Mini Motorways by Dino Polo Club. I love this game and the team behind it so much. Mini Motorways is an excellent first stop in the Apple Arcade. The game is incredibly simple to pick up and play, but it may just take you a while to feel like you're actually good at it in any genuine way. It is very fun though. Essentially, all you need to do is draw roads between coloured houses and their corresponding buildings. Your goal? Maintain an endlessly growing city road system that everyone will be happy with. Besides getting to intermittently choose new items such as extra roads, traffic lights, and motorways, that's pretty much all there is mechanically. This isn't like city simulator games where you have to manage an entire town. It's a stripped back arcade style experience that'll take about 10 to 20 minutes and ends with a high score. I really appreciate this absolute focus of Mini Motorways because it is just one idea. It allows the art style to be perfectly bright, simple, and clean, which in turn gives the player information at a glance really quickly. It really allows you to see what's going on and clearly watch how your traffic flows. You start with 1 or 2 buildings and colours, but it quickly escalates, and you'll become more and more frantic as all the roads slowly develop traffic jams, and you readjust your roads as best you can, while the cars are all still trying to use them. I think if there were much more things going on, especially towards the late game, it would become too overwhelming, but they've actually hit it in that perfect space where it's simple to pick up and start playing, but it becomes a real challenge as the game progresses. In my book, that is the perfect formula for an arcade-style game like this one, mechanics that just keep you coming back for more. And if you're anything like me, that is exactly what you'll do. Because I could be a city planner if I wanted to. I know bridges. Next is Grindstone. This gorgeously animated puzzler from Capybara Games takes the puzzle matching game formula and cuts its head off. In Grindstone, you cut your way through creatures to collect treasure, kill bigger creatures, and eventually escape the level. Each turn, you are tasked with drawing a line through same-coloured creatures in order to kill as many as possible in one go. The gameplay starts off as straightforward as that, but as the levels progress, you also unlock items that allow you to play in different ways, fight larger creatures with different abilities, and come up against environmental challenges as well. I really like how the gameplay kind of evolves over the course of a round. You begin just by going for the largest combos possible so you can reach the required score, open the door, and finish the level, but once that door is open, the creatures will begin attacking you more frequently, there's more loot to collect, and some stronger enemies appear. Slaying those stronger enemies rewards you with more loot, by the way, and that loot unlocks better items. So of course you're going to go for the loot. What are we, barbarians? This means as you spend more time in the level, the gameplay slowly shifts from just trying to rack up the biggest combo to trying to keep your character alive and get out of the level. With each turn you take, once that door is open, you're essentially gambling between finishing the level and collecting all your loot, or going for that extra treasure chest and maybe getting killed. And it's that tension and decision making combined with the absolute juiciness of everything you do in game that combines to make this such a joy to play over and over again. I was actually really surprised how much Grindstone grabbed me because I'm not normally a fan of these styles of tile matching games. But there's something about your Berserker main character just going to town on those poor creatures, leaving all their cartoon entrails in his wake, that it is so delicious to experience over and over again. It makes something that could have been as boring as this turn into something like this. but as you can see from some of the footage that I'm playing, they're actually dropping Easter eggs and carrots instead of entrails like they normally would. I think it's because it's around Easter time or something. Video games. Grindstone is one of those Apple Arcade games that is so polished and full of content that I could easily see it being a full-priced indie console title, but it also has gameplay that perfectly suits the touch controls and shorter play sessions that you find on a phone. It is well worth the download. Download this game. Now, I don't want to show you too much of the third game on this list because I think a lot of the joy actually comes from discovering the visuals and music as you play through the game. But do believe me, it is a one-of-a-kind experience. And hey, if you're paying for a subscription already, you might as well give it a download and give it a shot because, oh boy, it is definitely an experience. Described on the App Store as a pop album video game, Sayonara is kind of like an interactive anime music video with rhythm game elements, a little bit of racing, and I think I even saw a hint of Space Invaders in there at some point. Yeah, it's wild. It's so fast and there is just so much color and movement going off on the screen that the first time you play through, you're probably not going to get a very high score and just be staring at the screen dumbfounded. The game has been made in a way that still caters for most skill levels though, so don't worry if you don't have the fastest responses. If you fail a few times on a section, you will be asked if you'd just like to skip it, but you don't have to. And it's also really forgiving with checkpoints seeming to be pretty much every few seconds. So if you do stuff up, most of the time you just go back a couple of seconds and try again, which is really nice. The game is pretty short to play through, so the challenge of playing it well is where the longevity is. I'd say play through it once just to experience the beautiful story, music, and animations, and then come back to chase those scores if that's your kind of thing. But yes, definitely download this game, give it a shot, it will blow your mind, and do make sure to wear headphones when you're playing this to hear the music at its absolute best, because yeah, it's a whole experience.
Bronze rank.
One part role-playing game, one part roguelike, and one part pinball. Zombie Rollers is a monster mash of genres that you should download. In Zombie Rollers, you are defending your hero from invading zombies as they slowly shuffle towards your pinball flipper-based barracks. Folks, video games make me say very strange sentences sometimes. Each level vaguely resembles a miniature pinball board, complete with secrets and buttons you can hit to trigger events, but instead of shooting for a high score, your ball now shoots zombies. You can also whack them with the flippers if you want. It's a roguelike, so that means if your HP goes down to 0 and your character dies, you actually start the game all over again, but it randomizes parts of the game, so you might see different levels or collect different items. I love roguelikes, so I was happy with just that premise. Roguelike pinball, awesome. But they've actually added a whole bunch more role-playing stuff that keeps the game fresh and endlessly replayable. You can unlock different abilities such as multi-balls or balls that catch on fire, and you can pick up different hero characters who come with stats and abilities that you can also level up. When I first started playing, I was kind of thinking, there's a little bit much going on here, but by the second playthrough, I really appreciated how much choice they actually give you to play the game how you want, and it does keep it really fresh every time you go through a run. The boards themselves are really interesting too. Sometimes you're just flinging balls at zombies, but then you'll find yourself in pinball-based puzzles or boss battles that shake up the formula completely. The whole experience feels like the devs who made this really love the genres that they've decided to mash together here, and it feels like they've really just picked the most fun parts from each. The pinball elements, for example, has all the best stuff about pinball, which is hitting balls around, making noise, and hitting triggers and seeing what happens, but it doesn't have the stupid outlanes which make you lose all your balls instantly because there are no flippers in that part of the pinball machine. I like this game because it has taken out the worst parts of pinball, and that is awesome. If you can't tell, I'm a fan of pinball, I'm a fan of RPGs, and I am a fan of roguelikes. I think it hits the nail on the head for all three, and if you like just one of those genres, you will have a good time here. Download this game. Here are the mechanics of What the Golf on paper. Stick your finger on the iPad, pull it back to pull back your golf club, and then let it go to hit the ball. That's it. Here's What's the Golf on screen. This whole game is basically a giant joke built around setting up expectations and subverting them. Take the first level for instance. If you're like me and went in blind, you'd think, oh cool, it's just another cute looking take on golf. Wrong! All of a sudden you're smacking the hole around, not the ball, and then it ends with a pun. Hole in one. Nice. This first level sets the tone for a game that just takes all sorts of silly directions and you'll never know what to expect. And for that, I absolutely love it because it is so funny to see what the devs came up with here. And it's all based around this single finger dragging mechanic. Like Sayonara, I don't want to show too much of the game because the joy here is absolutely just playing through all the jokes, but believe me when I say the formula is perfect. Each level starts with a scene that really sets up your expectations for what you'll be doing, and then it has a few extra scenes that take that idea and either exaggerate it or completely turn it on its head. Finishing the levels aren't really that hard and are more about interacting with the joke rather than being challenging, but for the completionists out there, each level also has 2 harder scenarios attached to it. These challenges will still be based on the theme of the main level, but are much harder and serve to keep the game challenging for those who want a bit more gaminess in their games. So, if you like face-palmingly bad puns, appreciate boundless creativity, and love to laugh at the absurd and silly, you simply have to download What the Golf. So those are my top 5 recommendations for what you should download straight after getting Apple Arcade. I do hope you get some enjoyment out of these because I adore all 5 of these games. I think they're incredible. But there are so many more games on Apple Arcade that I played that I have not been able to tell you about. So hit subscribe if you want to know about those because I think I might kind of make this a monthly thing. It won't always be about Apple Arcade, but yeah, maybe just general games you should be playing right now sort of thing. So please do hit subscribe if that's the sort of content that you're into because there'll be plenty more on the way. If this video helped you find a new favorite or you just enjoyed watching it, please do hit like, it really helps the channel out. And if you have subscribed by now, I guess I'll see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed, I guess I'll wait. I actually have somewhere to be. I'll do it on your own time. I'm a busy man. Got Apple Arcade games to play.